Neon Indian is the project from Alan Palomo, who previously created the electro groups Vega and Ghost Hustler. Palomo's music has been coined as chillwave by adoring bloggers, and the 2009 album Psychic Chasms has become an album that has defined the genre.
So things have been really crazy for you in the past, what, year?
Yeah, I mean, like the album got finished, and then I left for Australia for a month to work with my friend in Miami Horror, and then as soon as I got back, I just started touring, and I have pretty much just been like on tour ever since.
Your dad was a pop star in Mexico. How much of an influence was that on you?
I mean, I think pop star is definitely kind of a strong term for it. I mean, he did have a stint, as an artist in Mexico, and he did have a little bit of success. But by the time I was born, I mean, the bulk of his catalog had already come out. I was pretty much just sort of raised around music, but it wasn't really until the end of high school that I started really toying with the notion of trying out like a band, or learning an instrument even.
So when did you sort of veer into more technological instruments?
There's actually one synth that I found at a music equipment pawn shop. I just hit a note and immediately it took me back, and I just became completely obsessed with it. And I was like maybe like $300 short of buying it. So it never, I mean, by the time I had saved up the money, I went back and it was gone, so that's still like the one synth that got away. But it definitely spawned this whole, idea about even getting into that sort of thing. And the first thing I did was I dug up my old Casio Ratman from my closet and just ran it through some distortion pedals and tried to record some of the drum beats and play over them. And ironically enough, I mean, it kind of sounded a little bit like what Neon Indian's doing now. Once I got into college, and that's when I started just kind of hunting down these different synths. And I remember one of the first ones I played around with was like the Juno 6, which I still use on stage. My first experience with video games wasn't even playing them. It was, I was like too young. It was just watching my brother beat the first Mega Man, and then Mega Man 2, and then 3, and then 4, and so on and so forth. But we were the first sort of generation to have our imaginations immediately dictated to, by some immediately interactive program in which the things that you do are affecting something. And it's I always revert to that state because there's something really weird and underdeveloped about it. There's something about the incompleteness of it that really leaves so much to the imagination.
Has any of that filtered into your music?
Yeah, it's really weird how it's people can make songs that are composed entirely of the coin sound from Mario or something, a lot of those sounds are very just immediately binding to that particular time and place. There are certain songs that I get really personally attached to, and that I kind of have a particular sort of, visual narrative that I'm trying to get across, or lack thereof, but there are some songs that I'm always really open to the idea of somebody just completely reinterpreting. I have a music video coming out for sleep paralysis, and it's really interesting when you have one association with the song, and then you give it to somebody else, and then it becomes something else entirely.
Live setup-wise, you are fleshed out by how many people?
It's 4 people on stage, and it's Ronnie on guitar, Leanne on the keys, Jason on drums, and then I'm also on keys, but also doing vocals, and then got some weird little electronics rig, yeah. The sort of setup that we're gonna have for this entire summer is to pretty much just have one massive projector. We actually have found these old, it was these failed products that were only out for a year that Atari made called the Atari Video Music Machine, that you would hook one side up to your record player and the other side up to your TV, and create these patterns that would react to the music. We're gonna have a few different screens that are kind of directly interacting with whatever it is that we're doing on stage. Smoke and strobes and all the other things you associate with getting really sweaty and watching an awesome show.